This fish doesn't just swim. It climbs trees, gulps air, and picks fights on land. At first, you think it's a frog. Then it blinks sideways and crawls out of the mud with fins. This isn't an amphibian. It's a fish, one that breathes air, climbs trees, and defends land like a tiny, gilled gladiator. This is the mudskipper, and it's unlike anything you've ever seen. We usually imagine fish swimming deep underwater, far from the surface. But the mudskipper isn't your usual fish. It spends more time out of the water than in it. It blinks at the sky, sunbathes on mudflats, and even climbs roots like a tiny explorer. Found in the muddy mangroves of Africa and Asia, the mudskipper has evolved to walk, breathe air, and fight for land. It's one of the weirdest and most fascinating animals on Earth. And the more we learn about it, the more it changes how we see life itself. The mudskipper looks like a cartoon character brought to life. Its eyes stick out of the top of its head, always moving, like little periscopes. It doesn't just flop around either, it hops, using strong front fins like legs. These fins let it crawl, climb, and even leap across the mud. Mudskippers live in tidal swamps, mangroves, and riverbanks where water comes and goes with the tide. Instead of swimming all day, they move through shallow puddles and spend hours on land. They can stay out of water for long periods, as long as their skin stays wet. There are more than 30 species of mudskippers, found mostly in Africa, South Asia, and Australia. They come in different sizes and colors, but all of them are part of the same strange family fish that decided water wasn't enough. When most animals are forced into water, this one crawled out. But why would a fish leave its home beneath the surface? Fish aren't supposed to survive outside water. They need gills to breathe. But the mudskipper? It found a way around that rule. This strange fish has a special trick. It can breathe through its skin and the lining of its mouth and throat. But there's one condition: the skin must stay wet. So mudskippers live in damp, muddy areas where they can keep their bodies moist. They also have enlarged gill chambers that hold a small bubble of water. It's like carrying a portable oxygen tank, not for deep sea, but for dry land. And when things get too dry, mudskippers will roll their whole bodies in wet mud. It looks funny, but it's survival. The mud cools their skin, helps with breathing, and keeps them safe from the sun. Some even build little wet burrows where they can hide until the tide comes back in. This isn't just adaptation, it's engineering. So how does a water-breathing animal end up learning the rules of land? Mudskippers may look small and funny, but they're bold, territorial, and surprisingly aggressive. They don't just sit in the mud. They own it. Each male claims a patch of land. If another male gets too close, the real show begins. They rise up on their fins, puff out their chests, and perform what looks like a tiny wrestling match. There's tail slapping, mouth gaping, and wild jumping, not in water, but on dry, sticky ground. It's not just for show. These battles decide who keeps the land and who gets kicked out. When not fighting, mudskippers spend their time looking for food. They eat insects, worms, small crabs, and algae, basically anything they can catch with their wide mouths. They'll sit still for minutes, then suddenly leap forward like a spring-loaded trap. But here's the wildest part. Mudskippers can climb. Using their strong front fins and suction cup-like bodies, they crawl up mangrove roots and mud walls. Sometimes, you'll see one resting high above the water, blinking at the world like it's the king of the swamp. This is a fish that doesn't hide. It explores, it fights, and it claims space like a land animal. What makes a fish brave enough to battle and climb far from the safety of the water? When it's time to find a mate, the mudskipper turns into a builder, a dancer, and a deep-sea diver all at once. The male starts by building a mud tower, not just a small bump, a proper mound, sometimes taller than the fish itself. The bigger and stronger the tower, the more attention it gets. Then comes the performance. The male flips, jumps, and shows off like a gymnast on a muddy stage. It's all for the female to prove he's the best protector, the best builder, the best father. If she's impressed, they disappear into the mud together. This isn't just reproduction, it's sacrifice, it's instinct. It's nature, making sure life continues even in the strangest places. How does something so small carry such a big responsibility? The mudskipper is more than a strange little fish. It's a living reminder that life never stops adapting. It breathes air, climbs trees, builds homes, and raises young, all while breaking the rules of what we expect from a fish. But maybe it's not breaking the rules. Maybe it's writing new ones. This tiny creature shows us how life once crawled out of the sea, long before humans ever walked the earth. So next time you see a quiet patch of mud, remember something extraordinary might be watching you from it. If a fish can walk, what other secrets is nature still hiding? If this blew your mind, imagine what's coming next. Hit like, share your favorite weird animal in the comments, and subscribe for more nature stories that surprise and inspire. Trust me, you don't want to miss the next one.